Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fadi Gwanny on Life Talks Live. This week we're talking about bad habits. Alright, so bear with me as we understand where do bad habits spring from. It's a very simple understanding, but once you know what bad habits are and where they're coming from, you have a simple idea about how to tackle it, how to change your perspective about bad habits. If you have a bad habit, this is good news. Stick around for the next 7 minutes as we understand why having a bad habit is actually fantastic for you. It's a beautiful start for a deeper journey within yourself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about bad habits, habits are behavioral patterns, right? You behave in a certain way and you behave in a certain way constantly. Now, we need to get a just deeper, closer look. Why are bad habits bad? First of all, definitely it's bad for you for whatever reason. Let's not talk about that part. But bad habits spring from a part of your mind where it needs to protect you from something else, right? So you develop a behavioral pattern. You have a bad habit. Trust me when I tell you, this is a magnifying glass for something inside of you that you need to change. Bad habits, again, behavior, end of the chain of the process of thinking, absorbing information, processing this information, and finally, behavior comes, results come out, right? So if you have a bad behavior generally on any given level, but it keeps patterning up, that's a habit, right? If I have a bad habit, let's take general concepts. You're a workaholic, you're an alcoholic, you use drugs, you smoke cigarettes. Everything, all these habits are designed to protect you from something, right? And the best thing about these habits is that it's telling you something is messed up. Something needs your attention. Don't panic if you have a bad habit. In fact, don't even think about changing your behavior. Stick with that bad habit. Let it be more like a signal for you on how you're doing from the inside. Let's take workaholics. Workaholics truly stay all their time at work because they believe work is serving them. No matter how destructive it becomes for their personal life, for their family life, for their social life, for their physical well-being, they commit to work like their life counted on it. Now, if you're a workaholic on a basic level of instinct, you find no other joy, no other significance, nothing else in life that fulfills you except sitting in your office and getting work done. I'm not asking you to change your behavior, stay as a workaholic, but while you're at it, take a few moments for yourself, which is the reason why you're a workaholic. You can't actually do that. Try to spend a whole day, 2 days, midweek, do nothing. And start observing what happens inside of you. Observe what your mind, body are going to keep telling you. I want you to take this information, what your mind is going to tell you, and really look at it up front and figure out where the problem is. If you don't work, you feel insignificant. You feel there is no point of you. You have hooked up your entire being. You are actual life in progress. And you hooked it up on a job. Right? So you have a huge problem here. You don't think you're important elsewise. And because you simply gathered that information across your life. You never felt important at home. They gave all the importance before that just to the job, just to work. Your significance as a human being is to go and make the money or succeed at something. It's what defines you. So you have all these faulty thoughts. Forget about the habit. Forget about what your body's telling you. Forget about all these things. You need to notice what your mind is doing. You need to notice the faulty thoughts that are coming from behind it. If you're an alcoholic, if you're a person who can't stand long enough in their lives without drinking and draining, it's because of a state of resistance. When you're sober, you can't deal with yourself. And if you can't deal with yourself, it's a very simple thing. You're resisting the present moment. Something is wrong. You need to dive a little deeper. What's wrong? What's wrong? Changing the behavior will instantly install a new one. You're still on the same protective zone. You still have the same thoughts where all these bad habits have sprung from. You abuse alcohol, you get drunk, you quiet that mind physically. Imagine you're trying to quiet your mind using physical substance. Drugs. Drugs quiets your mind, takes your mind off of anything. So you have a problem here. You're in a constant resistance towards your life. The physical expression of that is the bad habits. Why are you angry at the habits? Keep the habits. No problem with the habits. But you need to understand the habit. You need to understand where the habit is springing from. Once you have an understanding of that, you realize where the problem is, fix that problem. Forget the behavior. The behavior fixes itself. People end up changing their lives and changing their habits after their mind got awakened. Why was I doing that again? And you try to remind yourself, and the cause, the purpose, the reason why you do these things don't exist anymore. The habit drops. A little effort. You hear about people who quit smoking, spur moment of decision. Because the purpose of that, the cause behind it, just disappeared. It took him a while to figure out there was no reason for him to smoke, to have drugs, to be a workaholic. You're a workaholic because outside of work you don't exist. But that's your decision. You go to work day in, day out because you believe outside of work you're worthless. So is the problem in the working, or the behavior of working, or is the problem is in the thoughts? What if you understand and realize your importance of just being? How significant you are just by breathing. What if that becomes your new thoughts? How much time will you spend at work? Getting a job done, making somebody else richer. How much time are you going to spend there doing that? If you realize your significance, realize a thought. Realize that resistance that you had towards life outside of work was just an illusion. A faulty thought that you acted upon with all your life. So what happens when you realize that the drugs is not going to change your life? The one thing you're escaping from, which is a destroyed, chaotic life, the one thing you thought drugs were solving was actually ending up creating. You need the drugs so you can escape. What are you escaping? Messed up life. So what did the drugs do? Messed up my life. So at the end of the day, having the same habits is not going to... Forget the habits. Please. Don't stress about them. You're doing drugs, keep doing drugs. Alcohol, keep them. Whatever it is, if you can't find the core reason behind the habit, keep the habit. It's only a reflection of something going inside of you. And if you stop searching for that, then your life is chaotic. If you stop diving deep into your life and figuring out, why do I have this habit? Why is it destroying me? If you stop there, you've given up on life. Another mental problem. So ladies and gentlemen, don't stress about the habits. Don't stress on anything that is behavior oriented. Understand it. Understand it and dig deep. All our thoughts are man-made. All your thoughts are created by you. Your habits are reflecting messed up thoughts. So if you have a bad habit, dive in, find the thought, break it down to pieces, recognize it for the delusion it is. All our thoughts are taught. You're living somebody else's thoughts. One of the bad habits you need to quit is believing that what you know is the truth. You were taught to believe that whatever you know is. You need to question everything you've been taught. Question everything you've been passed on with. And I'm not talking about something in specific, I'm talking about everything. Everything that you've been thinking, everything that you've been doing, it's somebody else's thoughts and influence in your life. Question it. Is it true? Is it a fulfilling life? Question everything you know, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you have bad habits and they're compiling and they're destroying your life, it's because of something you were taught. You're playing with us? Oh, I have a whole bag of playful stuff. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that habits are not bad. They're serving a purpose. They're reflecting something within you. So please don't quit habits. Don't change the surface, because it's going to take you quite a time to develop a new bad habit so it can reflect what's inside of you. These are cues. If you get pinched in the arm, if you lean on something that's extremely hot and it hurts, you're going to pull your arm away. Don't get angry at it. It was a warning sign. Something's messed up. Your body's about to melt. Be grateful that you felt that. It saved you. You get a bad habit, fantastic. It's just a mirror. It's just a magnifying glass. It's a reason to go deep. So ladies and gentlemen, embrace your bad habits. Be grateful that you have them. They're only showing you some really messed up stuff going on inside of you. All you gotta do is understand where they came from. And when you do, start working there. If you can't do it yourself, ask for help. We're here for you. I'm glad I was with you today. I hope you really understand your bad habits and take it in correctly. And I hope to see you guys next week. Have a blessed evening.